Well, there's always such a human cost to these kind of conflicts, isn't there? And I mean, we're hearing reports today that this kind of plan and strike by Israel would have taken years in the making. I mean, Israel's goal is here to eliminate Iran's nuclear weapons capabilities, but also regime change too. We just heard in the report there before we came to you that this is likely to go on for days, if not weeks. How do you see this playing out? Is it even possible to say at this point in time?
I don't think it's possible to say in this point of time. I think a lot of cards, as they often do when it comes to Israel's capability, sit with Donald Trump. Trump has, I think, been, to some extent, I think he's been outplayed by Netanyahu, who sort of took this support that was coming to him from Washington. And even while the US was trying a diplomatic track, trying to get its own deal established and try and get this sixth round of talks, Israel had another plan all along. They'd been planning for a different way to tackle this problem, and indeed to just take this problem off the chessboard up through and potentially including regime change itself. I don't think Washington necessarily quite understood the audacity and the far-reaching nature of what the Israelis had in mind. And I think there's been a little bit of doublespeak, frankly, that Trump knew all along was happening. I think it's one thing to give a green light, or at least not give a red light to a strike on Iran. It's perhaps another to sort of just understand how breathtaking and how far-reaching this strike has been, and how it may potentially remake the region.
Simon, you mentioned there, of course, Donald Trump. I mean, Iran has accused the US of being complicit in this attack, but Iran has been backing away for a very long time from any negotiating settlement on nuclear ambition, or refusing to accept a deal that didn't include an enrichment of uranium, essentially. How do you expect Donald Trump to react now? Notably, he hasn't really come out forcefully over the last 12 hours or so, or 24 hours. How do you expect him to react?
I think, like a lot of us, the US intelligence community were making their assessments of how this is changing facts on the ground inside Iran, number one. Number two, I think the other thing, in a much more tactical, near-term way, Israel will be mightily dependent on the US's ability to resupply their anti-missile defenses, to get naval assets in close to the eastern shore of the Mediterranean there to back up what must be now depleted Israeli stocks of anti-missile defenses. And so I think you've got some near-term things to focus on, but I think keeping very close eye on the damage assessments coming out of Iran as to how far you let this play, or when it's time, perhaps to pull the reins in on Israel. And I think the answer is, if this could lead to regime change, if we're literally a day or two away from that, maybe if there's one assessment that is presented to President Trump that suggests that, he may well say, well, let Israel have at it. If, on the other hand, this looks like it may spiral into something that, something that is not manageable, or for which there is little historical experience with a level of escalation that really threatens to engulf the region more broadly and damage the global economy through its knock-on effects on oil supplies, the reaction of equity markets, maybe that's when they tap the brakes.
And we're already seeing that ripple effect at the moment. And of course, then there's questions about what this will mean for Anthony Albanese and his potential discussion with Donald Trump as well. Thank you, Simon. We've run out of time, but I really appreciate your time as always. Great to see you.